I'm Father Anthony Michael Bozeman, S.S.J, pastor of St. Raymond and St. Leo the Great Parish, and I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Well, I felt it inside, and it also came from reinforced by others speaking to me. As a child, I was pegged to be a priest. People say, "Oh, you're going to be a priest someday," because I loved things of God, I guess. I loved serving Mass. I loved being hanging around with the priest, helping the religious sisters out in my home parish. And so all those things about church I really enjoyed. When I entered the seminary, it's a funny story because when I entered, finally, I figured that I was going in, and a priest, one of my close priest friends advised me to go in with the idea that you're just staying to see. You're not going to be ordained. You're going to see if God is calling you to ordination. So I went in with the idea to explore, to see what God was calling me to do. And friends of mine took bets on how long I would last. And so you see that they lost a whole lot of money. I was a cornucopia of all of that. It's usually pretty good. But sometimes I was kind of bad. I was kind of bad too. So I had a mixture of those things. But usually I was the one who never got pegged for being a troublemaker, for being in trouble. But sometimes I would be the cause of it.
How many brothers?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Did you come from a single family home or 2 parents?
No, my mother and father are. I was blessed to have both parents in my life. And it's a very funny story because my dad was the Catholic side of the family. My mom was a convert. And so, but she was the one who really helped to reinforce the faith being given to us, to my sister and brothers. So so we had both parents, and my mom, the convert, was stronger than the traditional Catholic. Not only did I date, I was engaged. Yeah, I was engaged to be married, and she dumped me. And well, just tell me the story. She dumped me, but it was we see now that she must have been an integral part of God's plan, because her dumping me led me to the greatest gift I could ever receive in God's priesthood. No.
Which is the most difficult?
Obedience.
Why?
Obedience is the most difficult because it calls for you to surrender completely. Chastity is just, we're all called to be chaste. Every Catholic Christian. And so obedience is difficult because you really have to surrender completely your will to the will of someone else's who God has placed in your charge as a bishop or as a superior in your community. My advice for young men that are considering the priesthood is to discern, to truly discern properly, but not to discern on a periphery, to really delve into it. To if you're at that point, go into the seminary, because I waited and discerned on the periphery for many years, which was I think a mistake. I think that God was calling me, and I should have answered immediately, discerning so you can see what God is calling you to, and see if you can measure up, or see if this is what God really wants, or you're something else. So I think that to delve into it, and not to stay on the periphery, see what God has for you. You'll never be happier. If this is what God wants, you'll never be happier, and I'm a firm believer. The most fulfilling for me to be a priest, about being a priest, is the fact that I'm able to celebrate the holy sacrifice of the Mass and to assist my sisters and brothers in growing in the knowledge of who they are and whose they are. And this wonderful gift that God has given us in the Eucharist, and the priesthood that confects the Eucharist, and the gift of being able to share the good news of Jesus the Christ, that He's suffered, died, and rose from the dead so that we can have life and have it more abundantly. And to be a part of that is an awesome gift that I'm in awe of every day.